We'll talk about that.
It's quite poor. Hello, welcome. This is the Sinners Review podcast. This is part 3. So if you've just arrived, go and look at part 1, which is linked down below. I'm Ian. This is Jason. And you've missed it all, really. You've missed all about Glastonbury. Jason went. I watched it, loads of it on TV, but you can find out exactly what we said about that by looking at the 2 bits of this podcast. So we should probably do cinnamon bun chat, shouldn't we? Really,
it's not to. I think it's favourite section.
Yeah, and we are still looking for sponsorship. So if there's any decent cinnamon buns sponsors out there, we need sponsors anyway, because it costs a fortune to do this. Now I have not had a cinnamon bun this week.
Had a cinnamon bun free week.
Yeah, I've not been into town. I did look at a cinnamon swirl in Tesco's when I was in Tesco's yesterday, but a cinnamon swirl is not a cinnamon bun, and it really is the poor man's cinnamon treat. So okay. No, it's very disappointing this week, really. Whereas last week, I had 2 last week. So
you're in credit then.
I am in credit, yeah. So I probably need to have one for next week, don't I? That means a trip down to M&S. Or if Jane's going into town.
Maybe there's a subscription model and you could get one delivered every Monday morning or something.
I'd end up looking at the size of a house. They are quite, actually, in all seriousness, there is too much sugar on most cinnamon buns. I hate it when they sprinkle them with sugar all over the top of them. I like a plain cinnamon bun. It's sweet enough without all of that.
Right.
Gunk on top of it. Anyway, some of them have even got icing on. What's the point in putting icing on it's turned into a rant. What's the point in putting icing on a cinnamon bun? Anyway.
Cinnamon bun. Who knew?
So which one would you like to do next? Would you like to do asking, or would you like to do recommendations? I've only got a couple of recommendations, but
yeah, well, maybe before we do Ask Ian and then we'll finish your recommendations. We should heads up about our next EMOM.
Tomorrow.
Friday.
Yeah.
In Wales, not Wales, in Wales, the smallest city in England, I think.
Yeah, smallest city, yeah, with a fantastic cathedral, which is better than York Minster. And as a Yorkshireman, me saying that is going so. Actually, it's worth going to Wells Cathedral to go up to I think it's called the Undercroft, but it's not underneath, it's above. Because, I went out, I think I don't know if I've said this before, but I went up there one day. I've been 2 or 3 times because it is an amazing place. And we've got a ticket that means we can go anytime for the whole year. We paid a bit more. And this place, there was a guy up there and he was playing like a wooden flute. And it just, the acoustics.
Natural acoustics.
It was absolutely brilliant. It was just amazing.
Nice.
And you have to go up these wonky steps to get there. It's brilliant. It's a great place, really. Much more, actually, really much more interesting and less touristy than York Minster.
So, do you want to preview the gear you're going to use or not? We just leave it.
It's all here. So we've got so it's a bit of a stripped down setup. Back to the instruments.
Okay.
Because the Terror, I'm not using the Terror at the moment because of the button issue. I don't know if we said it on the podcast, but the lacquer's come off my Soma Terror. And I have been in touch with Soma, and I've also been in touch with Juno in London, who I bought it from. I've only had it 5 months, so it's whatever happens, it should be under guarantee. Soma said, "Oh, we can sell you a set of buttons for 60 quid."
That's nice.
And I thought, well, and I sort of ranted back to him and said, "Look, it's still under guarantee." They've told me to contact somebody else, which is a bit off. Juno in London have been really helpful. They've several emails backwards and forwards this week. They've said, if you can hang on, we're going to try and talk to someone. So they are trying to talk to them on my behalf. So I've not responded to what Soma have said. So that's a bit disappointing when you pay £1,000 for a synthesizer and it's 5 months old. and I've just got hands like everybody else. They're not particularly rough, but I didn't really want to use it until I get that issue resolved, really. If I have to change the sensors, I can do that because there's no soldering involved. It's fairly straightforward to do, but I'm not going to pay 60 quid when I've paid £1,000 for it.
Sure.
So we're back to the instrument.
Yep.
We're using the instrument. I'm using the Micro Monster 2, which I used at the Leeds EMOM Festival. And I'm using the Microcosm, and I'm using the iPad, but I'm not using the iPad for the synths that I normally do.
Okay. I'm
using two other synths that are not connected to the instrument.
Right.
So it'll be quite ambient. I've rehearsed it. I've rehearsed it every day. I just do it once a day, just to because it's different every time.
Very good. You're on first.
Say again.
You're on first.
I am on first. Yes,
Yep.
7:30. You're in the second half.
9:30, I think we're on. It's kind of hopefully the sweet spot, I think, because
that's. I mean, I won't have a big audience, but that's fine. I've done it every time they've done it. So, it's. I mean, I did quite like the fact that they said it was wonky ambient electronica, and I thought, yes, I'll take that because it's not as wonky. It's not as no, not wonky. It was weird electronica. I will take that. Yeah.
It's giving me a headache, I hope you're not serious, I'm not answering. Tell me shit, your complaints and your blah blah blah, stop calling me. What you gonna do when you're drunk and you're fucked up and I'm not answering? Hands on my body, and you dance with me. So why do you keep
So Martin Christie's playing. So
It'd be good to catch up with Martin.
And I saw he was going. We saw him in Leeds, and you know him obviously quite. But I didn't realise he was doing a set, so that's looking forward to that.
And his sets are great actually, because he's sort of part poet, part electronica. And I really like his stuff. I got his first album actually; it's really good.
Bit of poetry for you down in Wales tonight. A bit of Northern Beat poetry for you. All about an eyeball. One day I saw an eye for an eye, and it was just rolling down the street and staring up at me, and it followed me home like Mary has a little lamb and found out where I lived, and it haunted me again, and I could not relax till it fell through the cracks, and I followed it down there where the corpses lay, and I saw with my own eyes what it had done, stitched up my sockets with a staple gun.
Podcast without mentioning that thing that sounds like Spotify.
Go on then. We can't. I can't. Grottify. That's it. Grottify. Don't buy Spotify. Yes, you're never going to get, because the artists are never going to get paid. But that's a whole different topic for another day. We will do a future podcast on Spotify, because I have read Liz Pelly's book.
I think we queue it up. I think. Right, and ask Ian.
Okay.
Recommendations. So I'm going to chip this up, because this could potentially be the next. We talked about this as the next topic for another podcast.
Yeah.
So we're going to move to movies, because we've been obviously very music focused. Thought we could move to movies, because I don't know whether you saw today the sad news of Michael Madsen, the dude from Reservoir Dogs.
No, I didn't. I know who he is, because
he passed today. He was just on at the end of the news. Actually, he sketched the Reservoir Dogs sketch. And so he was great in that. I don't know,
I've seen a couple of films with him in, but he's amazing. You absolutely hate him in that.
Yeah.
But he's brilliant in it. It's a fantastic role.
So that made me think about movies. So give me movies where you've invested in the series, right? So whether it be Bourne Identity or whether it be Back to the Future 1, 2, 3. So give me because we were talking about are there any good sequels? And I think probably all right. So give me a series of movies that you brought into and invested. Could it be Rocket, RoboCop, whatever?
I do remember the original RoboCop and really liked the film. The sequel, the repeat, because it wasn't a sequel, it was the same film but just done much later, wasn't anywhere near as good. But the original RoboCop film was excellent. I did buy into I sort of bought into the original Star Wars films, so that, because they were started in 4, 5, and 6, wasn't it? It was the first 3, although
The Empire, the
original one, then Empire Strikes Back, and
what was the other one?
Was it A New Hope? I can't remember what it's called. But those 3 films I really liked. I didn't buy into the prequels. I saw the first one, and then I think I might have seen the second one. Didn't think very much of them, really. And certainly, I've done that. Now it's TV series. I don't watch any of that stuff.
Yeah, no.
I also don't buy into the sort of Marvel, DC comic franchises. No, I liked the comics. I bought the comics when they were out as a kid. But I always thought that, apart from the Spider-Man reboot, I only saw because I was working auditorium at Pocklington Arts Centre when they were showing the films. So I saw Spider-Man. Is it A New Way Home? That's one of the later ones, and quite enjoyed that. Doesn't make me want to see the rest of the franchise. Back to the Future, bought into that. All 3 of them. Again, the middle movie of Back to the Future is definitely darker than the other 2. I haven't watched them for a long time. The ones that I absolutely love is the Alien quadrilogy.
Quadrilogy? I didn't even know that.
I have I have them on DVD.
Nice.
So the Alien quadrilogy is, each film's got at least about another 15 minutes. And the third film, which is the ropey one where they're on the planet and there's not a lot of technology, there's another half an hour, I think. It's a whole nother day that was missing from the original film. It makes the film a lot more sense.
Right.
And yes, like all franchises, to some extent, they're flawed. But that's the franchise that I particularly like.
Nice, good one. Something I only found out quite recently, which I was amazed by. The very first Alien was 1979.
I went to see it at the pictures.
1979.
Yeah.
The kind of, I don't know. Does it still stand up? The special effects.
Yeah, I think it does.
It was probably amazing at the time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on a big screen for a long time. I haven't seen it on the big screen since 1980 or whenever it was I saw it. So I still think on DVD it looks fine,
Nice.
And isn't there going to be another one? Because they brought out. I saw the one because although I've got the quadrilogy, the 4, they then brought out the prequel, which isn't very good. I can't remember what that's called now. And then I think they did another one.
Alien.
Sorry, say that again.
They do Alien versus Predator or something.
No, well, they did, but that I wouldn't include that in. That's not a bad film actually, but I don't think it's part of the franchise really.
Over than a. Yeah.
I'm sure that they brought one out last year or the year before that I saw and thought was okay.
Okay.
So good one. But that. I do like Lord of the Rings as well, but and I've got those on DVD, but I've only watched them once.
Right.
But Alien's the ones that I've seen 2 or 3 times.
Good show.
Yeah.
So, any recommendations for this week?
2, just 2. I've only got 2. I wrote them down somewhere. I did. I tell you what, I didn't do. I didn't tell you who the person I knew was who performed on the pyramid stage. So you won't know who this is, but the keyboard player out of Now Rogers Chic is a friend of mine.
Oh,
Rich Hilton. So Rich played at Glastonbury. Actually, I should have contacted him because he went to he did go. He's been around, and we could have met up for lunch. I'd have thought about it, but and I know that he's playing. It might actually be tonight because this is Thursday night. We're recording this. He's playing Powderham Castle in.
Oh yeah, that's down by
in Devon, isn't it? With
where my mother lives. Yeah,
they're supporting Duran Duran, and they play a lot with Duran Duran around the world. You know,
Noel Rodgers worked with them, didn't he? Didn't he produce some of their stuff? I think
he may well have done. Yeah, I mean, and you know, I've never seen the band. I've seen it online, and
right.
it's a party band. It's a good time, and I looked a little bit on Glastonbury, and everybody was having a really good time, you know. And when you look at the amount of work that Nile Rodgers has done as a producer or as a performer, it's pretty phenomenal, you know.
I think he said about his set, all killers, no fillers.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And he does all those songs. So he does the David Bowie songs that he produced, because he did Let's Dance and all that album, which is, I have that album. That's a great album. And there's the other stuff that he did, not just the Chic stuff, but
he did Daft Punk one. I think he did.
He did, yeah, he did.
Lucky, was that him?
Lucky. I have to say I don't like that song, but that's nothing to do with Niall. It's just that I never liked it from day one. Really, I found it was too much of an earworm for me.
Right.
You know? But yes, so Rich, if you ever see this, mate, it was a good gig.
Something for continuity through our podcasts that we talked about when we did the iconic album covers.
Yes.
And mine was the Joy Division Unknown Pleasures one. I counted how many I saw in one day at Glastonbury.
Oh, yeah. How many?
I saw 7.
7. You see, there you go. That's it. Yeah. So somewhere I have written down 2. That's not it. I've got a scrappy little bit of paper here with. Yeah, I haven't. I'm not as well. Although I've done quite a bit of research for this podcast, I've not. Did I write it down on there? No. Our recommendations. No, I've written the word recommendations, but then not written down what the recommendation says. Anyway, one of them is TV. And I'm now started to watch series 5 of Yellowstone. I don't think I've recommended Yellowstone before. So I stumbled across this. Yellowstone the series 1 to 4 is on Netflix. So if you've got a Netflix subscription, it's free. And it's cowboys. It's modern day cowboys, which doesn't really sell it. But actually, there's political intrigue going on there. Think of it as it's Succession for cowboys, but better than that. It's better than Succession TV series. And annoyingly, series 5 will not be on Netflix. It's on Paramount. So I have bought the DVD, and we're doing one episode a night. It's brilliant.
Nice.
It's really, really good.
I heard about it.
Yeah. So, and it's, I stumbled across it because I was listening to a podcast and they said the most watched TV series in America was Yellowstone. I thought, well, if more Americans than any other series are watching it, I'll give it a look, really. And we just fell in love with it. We literally went through all 4 series, one after another.
Nice.
You know, it was
Nice.
great. So that's that. What the hell was the other thing? Have you got any recommendations? Well, I think I'm on my other one.
Yeah, why don't we do that? So one I would say is I've put the cover up behind me, which is Tandy.
Yes.
So I've got a couple of their records, and I saw them at Glastonbury. Have a listen; they're very good. Tandy.
Yeah, I will. I've written them down.
Nice cover. Another one is almost a bit of an apology, actually. So the latest album with Tom York and Mark Pritchard.
I've got a single that I got from Electronic Sound of them, which I have to say I wasn't that impressed by, but go on.
Yeah, so it's the guy Mark Pritchard, who was out of Global Communications, who I really liked. They released an album in the 90s that was kind of ambient-y. It was called 76 something. It was the running time of the album, I think. All the track titles were the running time. Really great album, right up your street, Ian. Global.
Right.
So I was excited at the prospect of the album because I really loved Global Communications, and you can't knock Tom York.
No.
And I guess it was a little bit, I guess, from listening to it on streaming, right? New release on streaming, put it in your playlist. I put my playlist on random and then didn't really listen to it as a whole album.
Yeah.
You know, I listened to it once and then it just disappeared into my playlist and a song would pop up every now and again. But this week I've been listening to it as an album, as intended. And it's actually really, really good. And some of the best albums are the ones that don't get you on the first play.
Yeah.
A lot of albums are really immediate and you get bored of them quite quickly. But this one is like, I listened to it first time and nothing hit me between the ears. But actually now I've come back to it and listened to it again as a piece of work. It's actually really, really good. And the reason why it's not immediate is because it's actually quite groundbreaking with what they're doing with some of the sounds and what Tom York's doing with his work. So I've come back to it, and again, I've listened to it on streaming. I think I'm going to go and buy it. I'm going to go and pick it up on vinyl or CD. CDs are a bit cheaper. So I'd really recommend it and give it a couple of listens as it was written, as it's intended, as an end to end. Really like the albums.
I half dismissed it after listening to the single.
Right.
You know.
The album's called Tall Tales, so it's definitely worth a go.
Right. I was just looking to see whether the book I'm reading, whether I can recommend that, because it's not out yet, and I don't know when it's out. I'm just going to check when it's out. One thing I will recommend, I'll recommend the Lord album, Virgin. It's worth a listen if you like Lord. I know everybody does, but I've always been a bit of a fan. So
I listened to it on the day it came out. It came out last Friday.
Yeah, and that's when she played. That's what, and she did play. Her set was all of the album live, which was great.
And then people already had the lyrics and were singing along.
They did, yeah. Well, she'd released 3 tracks. One of them was a number 1 single. So 3 tracks have been released over the last couple of months.
Right.
And then obviously people knew those, and people obviously, had been listening to it probably that morning to actually get some of the other stuff. And then she did the hits at the end, which was really quite cool. Right. But it's a good album, certainly. So let me just see if this is available. When's it available? I'm going to leave it because I want to recommend it when you can buy it. There's no point if you can't buy it and you can't buy it yet.
Yeah, let's stay next week then.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to have to leave it till September. It's not out until the 16th of September.
What's your T-shirt before we go?
The T-shirt is, I think I may be the voice of my generation.
Okay.
It's actually a comic relief T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think I am the voice of my generation because I could be that arrogant or not. I can't remember what the other thing I thought about. I'll probably have to leave it till next week because I've written all over this bit of paper upside down and all over the place, and none of it makes sense now. I tell you who I didn't talk about: Beth Gibbons playing at Glastonbury.
I did watch that. That was fantastic.
I thought she was really good. I would rather it be Portishead. I know it would sound like Portishead because it's her, but I thought she was really good, and I quite liked English Teacher, but I sort of quite liked them anyway, being from up north.
I was going to say they're from up north.
I played them on the Audiophile Radio Show before they had a deal. That's my
Nice.
yes. So I think we're done, aren't we?
I think so. Yeah. All up. I'll see you at the EMOM.
You will. So we should always say that you should subscribe, like, or unlike if you really want to. Or somebody has unliked one of them, which boo to that person. So apparently the algorithm likes that sort of stuff. But
I did see one of the comments. I can't remember what the topic was, but somebody wrote, "Who gives a shit?"
Did they? Oh, I hadn't seen that. Well,
I think it was about the Sabrina Carpenter one. And so
was it? Oh, right. Okay. Oh, good. So thanks very much for that. It all helps the algorithm.
It all helps. Yeah. All
Right.
opinion.
All opinions are valid, although our opinions are more valid because it's our podcast.
Because you are the voice of the generation.
Because I am the voice of my generation. I mean, I'm only the voice of my generation in this house. That's the actually Jane would disagree with that wholeheartedly. So I am the voice of a generation in this room.
In your world.
Yeah, in my world. Okay, matey, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Take
All right.
care.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good. Bye. Bye.
See ya.